What's going on, Doozers, and welcome to episode 15 on the Shadowtopia server. We're starting today off in the nether because, you see, we got the gold farm built last episode, and it's working. I mean, I didn't spend too long. I got 2 stacks of gold blocks plus 2, and, 170 levels ain't that bad either. But now it's time to figure out exactly how we're going to be building this Piglin trading farm. Now, I've seen a lot of different methods online, and they're all relatively the same. We want to do something just a tad bit different. So, my idea is to be able to take the hoglins and have them standing on top of something, probably a hopper or a hopper minecart. And then I want to drop the gold ingots, or, yeah, the gold nuggets, rather. Ingots. These guys. Yep, the bars. I want to drop those right to the hoglins. That's pretty much what I want this to do. Now, what I'm thinking is I want to be able to have it come automatically from the gold farm, but also to be able to be turned off. So I want to be able to take the gold bars, and I want to give them to the hoglins, and if I don't want them to go to the hoglins, then I can bypass it and go into a storage system, which means I'm going to have to connect it into this somewhere, probably with a item sorter, one of these systems. And then I need a lock switch that'll unlock or lock this based on what I'm doing. But the first thing I need to do is figure out exactly how I'm going to get the gold to the hoglins themselves. So when the hoglins trade the gold, they trade it every 8 seconds. Is roughly 8 to 10 seconds is how long it takes for them to go, ooh, look, a nice piece of gold. I'm going to eat this piece of gold, and I'm going to toss you something else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's about 8 to 10 seconds. So I need, to break this, I need to create a system that will transport 1 bar to the hogs every 8 seconds. That way we don't have any wasted gold like hanging out and dropping into the chests and getting clogged up with all the other stuff that we're getting. So I think we're going to pop into the creative test world and start figuring out exactly how we're going to do it. So let me just, open this chest real quick and get over there. Now that we're here at the creative test world, we need to start figuring out exactly how we're going to do this. So we already kind of know that the hoglins are going to be sitting on a block, and that block is going to have to be in an area where they can't hit us. We also know that we're going to have a hopper underneath them to collect any of their drops. So we can start getting that stuff in right now. So we know we're going to need the hopper. The hopper's going to go into a storage collection system. The piglins are going to sit here. We don't want to be attacked by them. And we need a way to collect all their drops without us getting whacked. Now, I'm kind of thinking that we might be able to cheat a little bit by using a slab or a staircase. So if I just put a slab right here, and let's get the hoglin. Let's try hoglin. Piglin. Piglin is what we actually want here. Piglin brute. Piglin. There we go. We're going to want a piglin. Now, if I put the piglin there, he's going to be able to spawn or move around, and that's not what I want. I don't want him to be able to walk around on us. So if we put a block right there, that should take care of that. Now, if I put gold... Okay, so if I drop it right there, he gets to see it, and he does the trade. Okay, so that works. Now, the next question is going to be, can I use a dispenser to accomplish that exact same feat? So if I put a dispenser here and fill it with gold, and then we'll put a, I guess for right now we can just put a button on there. Okay, so that'll put the gold right there, and then the hoglin should be able to grab it. Perfect. And it doesn't get sucked up into the chest. Okay, give me a few minutes. I'm going to start working out a design. All right, guys, so we're going to get into some video. And while I was editing, I realized that the audio, something stopped working with voice mod, and I'm not quite sure what. So my audio got a little bit jacked up, and there's some like popping going on, and I apologize. Unfortunately, it's not something I realized that there was an issue with until I went to edit, and I can't go back time and fix it. So since the audio is actually there, I'm going to go ahead and use it. I apologize in advance, and I understand if you want to just throw on closed captionings and, you know, not actually listen. Get it. But that being said, I mean, enjoy, and I apologize. It won't happen again. Let's go. So we have the basic idea down for how we're going to be storing up our little piggies. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to come through here and just fancy this up a little bit because I want it to look presentable, you know? So what I'm thinking is this is going to be our front. This is where we're going to walk in and we'll be able to see them and make sure that they're doing their work without being shot. Now, as far as getting the items into the hoppers, that's our next step. And what I'm using is just the minecart going back and forth, and it's putting the stuff in. So now what we need to do is figure out an intelligent way to get the stuff into the minecart. So what we're going to use is a minecart loader. So what we're going to do is, just for the sake of doing this a little bit quickly, let me grab some quick supplies here. I don't need that. And I am going to need some of these. Just do that. Okay. So just for the sake of being a little bit quick here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to throw a couple of powered rails down. We're going to throw in a detector rail. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build one up, and we're going to throw in, give me that. We're going to throw in a powered rail up onto a ledge like this, and we're going to get rid of that powered rail and put a block there. So what's going to happen is our minecart's going to come down here, and it's going to shoot up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and power these, because these have to be powered for this to work. Now, the next step is to grab, let's see, we're going to need a comparator. Got the comparators already, cool. We're going to need a sticky piston. We're going to need a fence. We'll come back for you, don't leave us. And we're going to need a hopper. So the hopper is going to go right here onto this piece of rail here. So we can come right up, put it on top like that. Now what we need to do is we need to get our signals. So we're going to get our signals from two spots. We're going to get one there and one there. This one is going to be measuring the hopper. This one is going to be measuring the minecart. We're going to go ahead and put in our fence gate right there. And then we're going to come up with a sticky piston right here. So the first circuit that we're going to make is the one that's actually going to allow the minecarts to do their thing. Okay? So the hopper here is going to go into this. It's going to go into a block, just like that. And what this is going to do is it's going to say, hey, when I'm full, power this, retract this piece of fence. Okay? Now, right now, this is all off, so bear with me here. We're going to take care of that in a second. So, there we go. Now that's all on. So what's going to happen is this is going to get a signal from that that says, hey, I'm empty, and it's going to not power this, meaning that's going to be off. This one is going to detect the minecart and say, hey, the minecart's empty. It needs to stay here until it's got stuff in it. Okay? Now what we need to do is we need to tell it to go whenever. So we're going to bring a circuit down from this redstone. We're going to drop a torch. We're going to put in a comparator. And we're going to put 2 pieces of redstone dust. Now, if you guys have watched some of my previous videos on how comparators work, this comparator is detecting the signal from the back and comparing it to the one coming in from the side. So the one from the side is going to be a 14. The one from the back is going to be a 15. So now what we can do is we're going to put a piston like so with a redstone torch. Boop. There. So now what's going to happen, and it looks like a really complicated system, but I'll explain it here really quickly. If the comparator is empty, this circuit will say, hey, go ahead and let the minecart out. If the minecart is full, this circuit will say, hey, let the minecart out. And if both are true, it'll say, hey, let the minecart out. So that's that part done. Now what we need to do is we need to figure out exactly how we're going to have it come across. So what I'm thinking we're going to end up doing is bringing it this way. And then we'll bring it over to here. Oops, a little bit of a mistake there. That's okay. Everybody's allowed to make them. Now, we want to keep this going at a relatively steady pace in these spots here, going over the actual, over the hoppers. We want them to be consistent. And that's going to be a key word on this project, is consistent. So what we're going to do is everything behind this unloading station is going to be, you know, kind of whatever. It's going to be doing its thing. Hey. There we go. So now what we can do is we're going to go ahead and get our hopper minecart out. We're going to put that right. Let's put that there. We'll give it a nudge to get started. Now we are going to have to power these. There we go. So now what we should be able to do is we should be able to give this a push, and it should go right to there and stop because there's nothing to put in. So if I put in a little bit of gold, that lets it go. That resets. This comes up, goes right back. Because there's nothing in the hopper, it's just going to let it keep going. And it's going to keep doing that ad nauseum until this is empty. So if I were to stop this, take that out, we'll go ahead and give that a little bit of a nudge. Go on, keep going. You'll see that it's going to come there and come to a complete stop. And that's what we want to see, because now it's saying, hey, there's nothing in the system. I don't need to run anymore. So now that we have that information, and we already know that this is going to be the front of our farm, what we can do now is we can transpose that entire system over to this just to start getting it fleshed out a little bit and built. So I'm going to get back to work on this, and it should be just about ready. The only thing we're going to have to do after that is set these to go off at an interval and drop one piece of gold every 10 seconds. So let's see what we can come up with. So I think I've got this figured out, and I think this it was one of the simplest designs I've ever come up with. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get rid of these half slabs here. Just go ahead and yank all of these out. And we're going to replace these with gold pressure plates. Now, the light pressure plates will activate even when there's just a single item on them. So what we wanted to happen is we only wanted one gold bar to be sitting there. That way they're not despawning. And when the pigmen come and take it, they are presented with another one. So if I come up, I take that one piece and it gets presented with another one pretty much right away. So now what we need to do is we need to start figuring out exactly how we're going to get this system working the way we want it to. We also have to be mindful that we may get gold coming down, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to prevent that from happening, short of maybe putting in a stair here for the pigmen to stand on, or even a slab that they can stand on, which actually may be the right answer for this. But we'll figure that one out as we go. The other option may be to actually move this whole thing up one notch. In any case, the way this is working, and let me just knock out some of these blocks here. The basis of this system is that we're going to have a repeater right here, and whenever there's something on this gold pressure plate, you can see right there that we now have a signal coming out. Now, if I take that signal coming out, give me that torch, thank you. That signal going into this block is going to depower this torch. Then what I can do is I can take that output signal and run it through a piece of redstone like that. So whenever a single piece of gold is taken out, it triggers another one to land. And I think that's going to be the way that we have to set this up. Now, again, looking at the way this pattern is set up, I'm going to have to, I think, actually move the pigmen down a step. And that's fine. That's fine. I can put the pigmen right here and still have them doing exactly what I want them to do. Let's take this out quick. Go through all this. There we go. So if I repeat this a couple of times, let's just go ahead and put all this in. So right there, right there, and there. And then we put these in, our torches. Our stepping stones, so to speak. And then our redstone dust. Go. And I think these two are, those two are not empty. There we go. If I come and take that. Yep. Okay, good. So now what I can do is I should be able to put the pig guys sitting right here. And that means that I can bring this wall straight across this way. And let's go ahead and get our piglins in quick. Now, for this, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just box these guys in with glass. I think that's how we're still going to do this. And let's go ahead and pop these open real quick. And we're going to grab our piglins. Now, when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we're using adult piglins. We don't want to use the babies, because the babies are, well, they're tiny. Yeah. There we go. We got our piglins in there. That's why we don't want the babies right there, because they can hop inside of that. So we definitely want to make sure that we only have the adults, and we killed them all. So it looks like we have a solid game plan for how we're going to actually build this. Now it's time to go ahead and get it built over onto the server. So we're going to shoot over there, and we're going to start framing this whole thing out. So now that we're back here on the server, we're going to go ahead and start framing this whole thing out. Now, we already know a couple of the key parts of this being that... Where did I put Ender chest? There. I'm getting lost in my own stuff. So, we already know that one of the key things to this is that we need to be able to be close to the gold farm. That's kind of an important part of this. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves set up. We also know that we need to have the pigmen standing a little bit off the ground from where we're going to be. So I think one of the first things that we need to do is we need to convert these into their respective blocks. And we need to figure out exactly where we're going to put these guys. Now, the other thing we're going to have to do still is we're going to have to get the pigmen and bring them in here. And that could be a little bit of a challenge. But the first things first is let's go ahead and actually get this, the platform area built for these guys. Now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the blackstone, and we're going to say, okay, I want to be able to be presented with the gold here. And we have this big system right here. So what we can do is we can go ahead and put our pigmen in here. And this is going to be where we come up to get all of our prizes, all of our loot, everything else. Now, the next issue that we're going to have is we have to make sure that we can get all of their stuff out, and we have to get it out relatively quickly, meaning that we want this up high enough that they can drop their goods down, or we have to transport everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and frame this out, and it's going to look kind of like this. So what we have now is we have our basic structure laid out. The pigmen are going to stand here. This is where they're going to collect their golds. And then they're going to throw it down onto the floor for us to pick up. So now what we need to do is, now that we have the method of getting the gold and everything else from them, now we have to start working out how we're going to get the piggies in here. We're also going to finish up the rest of the system. So what I'm going to do is we're going to close our eyes real quick, and then we're going to open them back up, and here we go.
I know, right?
3, 2. All right, so I think we've got this all figured out now. It took us a hot minute, but we got this. So now what I should be able to do is load all this up, and that should automatically start this part of the farm going as soon as this is full. There we go. So that should be allowed to leave, and we should start seeing that these are now starting to fill up with our gold. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. So now what we need to do is we need to change this one here out to this way. Nope, that's wrong. Here we go. Let me out, let me out. I don't want to be in here anymore. Alright, so now that we have all this set up and figured out and whatnot, now what we can do is we can go ahead and put all of our gold in there, got it all stocked up. Now all we have to do is actually get this system and make it work. So, let's yank this out since we don't need this anymore. So now what we can do is we can start taking a comparative signal off of these hoppers. And let's see, do I have comparators? Of course not. That would make sense, right? Having comparators. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take a comparative signal off of all of these hoppers. Just like this. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put that signal up into these blocks. And we're going to put a torch on top of these. And we're going to put a block on top of this. And what we want to see is we want to see these guys start actually dropping stuff off. So now what I need to do is I need to get a piece of redstone dust. And that should actually start this entire system working. Where did I put my dust? Dust, dust, dust. Dust. All right, so let me get this squared away, and then we're going to come back and check and see if it works. And there we go. It is now doing exactly what it's meant to do. You can see that these are occasionally turning off, and then what's happening is they're going to turn back on. When they're turning back on, it's because these guys are taking their gold, they're looking at it, and they're going, huh, I don't need nothing. Look at this. Look at the gold. Look at the gold. There's a book. And then the minecart comes, it picks it up. And when the minecart picks it up, we should see another piece of gold dropping out, just like that. There we go. This is now set up as an automatic trading farm. So all we have to do is plop a bunch of gold in there, and we're golden. Got it? See what I did there? All right. So now we got to get this last hoglin in place. So, boy, that's going to be the fun part. All right, let me go get them. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. The good news is the farm is done. Now, I was hoping to meet up with JT today. Unfortunately, things just didn't work out. So I'm going to leave him a book. And it just says, JT, I'd love to help you learn the strange mysteries of the Dust of Red. I shall await your owl letting me know when to meet you. Me. So we're going to go ahead and toss this into his mailbox. And while we're doing this, guys, I want to thank you for your continued support over this time. It's been absolutely amazing knowing that I'm doing something that can help even one or two people smile just a little bit. So for everybody else, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing, and you can always change your mind. Yeah, it's a thing. And that being said, don't forget to hit the bell notification icon. Feel free to comment, like, share, all that other fun jazz, guys. I'm DiamondDoozer, and thank you. I'm out.